what I want you to pay attention to as you listen to Allie tell this story is how one decision at a time, instead of arguing against what she wanted, she simply was like, okay, why don't I try it?
Yeah.
And so you're sitting there, you're in your 30s, you have 2 young kids. You are thinking, maybe I'll just start a mobile blow drying business.
Yeah. It literally was like one day dawned on me. I was like, I think I should do this. I should back up a little.
Put me at the scene. Like, where did you get the aha? Like, I'm going to get in my car and drive to people's houses and blow dry their hair for cash.
Well, it's exactly what happened. But I had just moved to LA, a few years before, and I met my best friend, who's still my very best friend today, when our now 18-year-old sons were babies. We met in a breastfeeding support group, and we were inseparable, and we had these babies, and we were stay-at-home moms, and we were having the best time. And we both started to get the itch at the same time. She just had a knack for planning parties and things, and so she wanted to get into the party planning business. At the time, I was like, oh, that sounds fun. I'll help you with that. And then we started to do that. I did not really enjoy that, and I was like, no. And we were fighting, and I was like, no, this isn't it. And I remember we were sitting in my Santa Monica tiny apartment, and Paige and I were sitting on the floor with our babies crawling around us. And I was like, I love you, and I love that we were starting this business together, but I don't think it's the thing for me. I think I want to start a mobile blowout business. And by the way, she had curly hair too, and used to always ask me to blow out her hair. So she knew because we were so close. And so she's like, I think that's a great idea.
What year is this?
This is 2000, and I guess the boys were 3. And so I was like, I think we were like, what do you think people would pay if I came to their house? I want to make this people are actually going to call me. So because nobody knew me. I was brand new to LA. And so we were like, maybe $35 or $40. And Paige was like, yeah, 220s, easy peasy. I was like, 220s, easy. It's going to be a cash business. So I posted on Peachhead, and I said, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 2 little boys. I'm a longtime hairstylist. I'm thinking of starting a mobile blowout business where I'll come to your house while your baby is sleeping and blow out your hair. And I'm going to only charge, I literally said, I'm going to only charge $35 or $40. Not a very sophisticated business plan. And sure enough, I started getting inundated with emails like, can you come over tomorrow? When can you come over? And I was like, God damn, I'll be there. And so
what did you do with the kids?
Well, I didn't actually make any money because between gas and I didn't make any money, but who cares because it led to Dry Bar, right? But at the time I was so happy still because then I got a big duffel bag together. I threw all of my hair shit in a bag and I was like, okay, I'll be over. And so I think one of my sons was in preschool then, a total wash money wise, but I didn't care. And I was really just wanting the freedom to get out of the house for a little while and do something for myself and talk to adults and whatever. And I love doing hair. And so it was a win-win-win for me, minus the money. So I start going to do women's hair. And another big key insight that I didn't realize I was learning while I was learning it was that I would usually go to these women's homes and be in their living room or kitchen, rarely in someone's personal bathroom. It's they didn't know me. It wasn't I was their friend.
Right.
I was just coming over to do, but I was a mom, so there was a level of trust. But I would usually do their hair in the living room, so not in front of a mirror. And that's the thing about Dry Bar, which of course now, is there's not mirrors in front of the stations at Dry Bar, which was such a massive learning for me from the mobile business because I would go to a woman's house, she'd be sitting at her like this, at her bar, at her kitchen, I'd blow dry her hair, so she wasn't micromanaging me, which as a hairstylist was awesome because I was like, when I'm ready for you to see your hair, I'll tell you and you can get up and go look in a mirror. And that would happen. And then there would be this really amazing moment where she'd be like, oh my God, I love it. And you'd hear the squeal. She'd be so happy. She felt so good. All this confidence erupted. And I was like, man, this is so great because not only do I like it as a hairstylist that I can just do my thing and work it out and make sure it looks good. And she doesn't have the pressure of who wants to stare at themselves in a mirror for 45 minutes? It's as women, as humans, really, it's you start dissecting yourself. I look tired. I don't like my nose looks what's up with that? Why am I wearing this? All the
why
shit.
are they doing this with my hair right now? What's happening?
All the shit that we do, we just nitpick because we're staring at ourselves, And I was like, okay. And when we started concepting Dry Bar, so many learnings from my mobile business came out, and that was a huge one.
How long did you do the mobile business before you're like, there's something here?
Yeah. For about a little less than a year because I got so busy and I was like, shit, I'm saying no more. I'm starting to say no more than I'm saying yes because back to the kids, I could really only be out of the house for 4 hours.
Right.
So I could only do maybe 3 or 4 blowouts in that time if it worked out. Because I was in the Palisades and Brentwood and Santa Monica. And so I was running around. And I couldn't do that many. And I was like, man, I'm saying no more. I'm like, that's not good. And then I was like, do I bring on more stylists like Mobley and send them out? But then they're going to turn into their clients. And so I was like, that doesn't seem right either. And I couldn't control the experience. And that's when I went to my brother and I was like, I feel like I should turn my mobile business into a brick and mortar. My brother's also bald and like a dude. And he was like, what? Why can't women blow out their own hair? And I'm like, no, I'm like, didn't you remember growing up with me and like the crazy, whatever.
Yep.
But I got him on board with it. And I said, I want to basically, instead of me going to them come to me. Like I want to open one little shop. And he was like, okay. He knew I was having success in my mobile business, that I was getting really busy. And I was like, Mike, I think if the price is right and the space is beautiful and really well run, and I'd worked in hair salons, like I knew enough to make it great, I felt. And he knew that. I knew that too. So when I went to Michael and I said, I want to do this, and he was like, And it was so cool because it was such a level set of skills. Because Michael was always like really good student, just naturally really book smart and whatever. And I wasn't. But now here I'm coming with this like, I know this business and you don't. So you need to learn this part from me and I need to learn that part from you. And so that was this beautiful merge of us coming together. And I was like, I know I need help running this business, but I also know I know how to run a salon because I'd worked at many salons as like the assistant to owner. So I saw all of it, like the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that happens in hair salons.
And I want to pause right there. And let me tell you why. Because we also discount the fact that everything that you've done along the way is also filling your brain with
100%.
experiences and ways that you wouldn't do things. And it doesn't even have to be in the category that you started this business in.
Right.
Because you're always learning and experiencing things and saying, I wouldn't do it this way, or I would do it this way, or I wanted to do it this way, or I want it. And so these are all such profound and important nuggets.
I really believe everything I did in my life uniquely prepared me to sit at the helm of a blow-dry empire. Unequivocally. I mean, that
is a hilarious sentence. Can I just say that? A blow-dry empire.
It's what Dry Bar is.
A blow-dry empire. That is incredible. Because I don't think anybody would wake up and go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a blow-dry empire.
Me either. But I'm just, it was like working in PR, working at hair salons. And I really did see, there was so much I loved about hair salons, and there was a lot that I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't like the cutthroatness of it. I didn't like it was like the eat what you kill environment. I didn't like the I don't want to wash your hair. Like, there was a lot I didn't like about it. And I was like, I don't want that. That's not what Dry Bar is going to be about. Like, I want this happy, we all are in this together, kumbaya, which was not what you just don't see that in hair salons. And we had so many stylists. I mean, gosh, at the height of Dry Bar, I mean, probably even today, there's over 5,000 stylists that work for Dry Bar. And, there was always this sense of, I can't tell you how many stories I'd hear from stylists who would come in and be like, my boss is like doing drugs in the back and nobody's nice to me and I hate it there. And I mean, story after story after story, like there's just this weird, not all, and I want to be like cognizant to not say not all hair salons are like that, and there's a lot of really great ones, but there is a lot of stories. I mean, not stuff that I actually experienced myself, but just stories that I heard from stylists about how they were treated and how, the way that they were paid and all the things.
It's a hard business.
It's a hard business. And, for us, we wanted to make it not like that. We wanted it to be like, the way the Dry Bar structure was set up was that we were paying people like they were paid hourly, and then they would get their tips. So it wasn't like a chair rental the way it typically is. And that was an intentional decision because I wanted people to feel like they were part of something, that it wasn't like you're just coming in to see, hairstylist Mel. You're coming in to Dry Bar to get a great blowout. And the big reason this thing would work is because you could sit in anybody's chair potentially and get a great blowout. It might not be the exact way that Mel does it that you love, but you'll sit in Allie's chair and you'll be like, oh, this isn't like what I would have got, but I kind of like it. Because I always feel like, again, I take this hairstyling stuff obviously very seriously.
I love this.
But I feel like, people don't always know what they want until you show them. Far be it for me to compare us to like the iPhone, but we didn't know we needed iPhones, and then we got them and we're like, of course we needed iPhones. And it's like, again, it's lofty. But I think that a woman comes in and she always gets her hair blown this way.
It's
and
true.
I'm like, just show her. You're the hairstylist. Just show her a little something a little different. And then she'll be like, oh my God, I love it. And it would happen all the time. So I'm like, it's our job as the hairstylist, the innovator, the leader in this situation to show women. And if she doesn't like it, she doesn't like it. We'll redo it, whatever. It's like, we're not cutting her hair off. It's not surgery. And so that was, I felt really strongly about all of that. And it really was like, again, it's like, you're going to make so much fun of me. Like I used to say, we're not, we're changing the world one blowout at a time. And I really felt like that. I mean, the change you would see in women was unbelievable.
Well, I think when you feel good about how you look, there is absolute irrefutable research about how it impacts your confidence. No question.
Someone did an article, I think it was Marie Claire. It was, back when magazines were still popular. And I was actually a friend of mine who wrote the story. It was called The Psychology of a Blowout. And she sat in Drybar for 8 hours and she watched the behavior of how women walked in and how they walked out. And I mean, Mel, it's astounding. You'd see the way a woman would walk in, like very serious, usually a hat on, like, head down, business, like serious. And I kid you not, there were times when women would walk out, because I was in the shop 24/7. I was like, I didn't see that woman come in. And they're like, yeah, you did. She came in an hour. And I was like, no, I didn't see her. Because I didn't recognize her because she looked so different. I mean, her hair looked different. Her hat was off. But there was like this like lightness and this pep in her step. And that's when I was also like, okay, we're not selling blowouts. We're selling happiness and confidence. Like, holy shit. We are so on to something. Like, this is not about hair anymore. It was like, this was about the psyche of like the way women were feeling, and that's why it got so massive, in my humble opinion.
One thing that I just can't underscore enough is the example that you're giving to the person listening on passion. And there's a couple things I want to point out here, and it's this. First and foremost, passion I have always defined as just energy, anything that energizes you. And there is no doubt that blowouts and hair and happiness, that brings so much passion and energy into your life. You can feel it. It like vibrates off you as you talk. And here's the other thing I want to say about that. Passion is so personal. Because I don't give a shit about blowouts, honestly. Like, I literally, there is no way I could have built this business. I can't manufacture passion into it.
Of course.
And so I say that because I think we're always looking for some big idea, or for that person that's listening that's like, I have the itch. I know what she's talking about. I have this itch to do something bigger, but I don't know what bigger is. I want to keep pointing you back to the example that Allie is giving us. What do you talk about all the time? What would you do that if you could just do this and your bills were taken care of, you would do this all the time? And don't tell me you'd lay on your ass on a beach and drink margaritas, because that would be fun for about a week. And then you'd be like, okay, got to scratch the itch because this is not doing anything.
I really believe everything I did in my life uniquely prepared me to sit at the helm of a blow-dry empire.
A blow-dry empire.
It's what Drybar is.
You got it nailed in business. Put me at the scene.
I was like, what do you think people would pay if I came to their house? Maybe $35 or $40, $220s, easy peasy. So I posted on Peachhead.